This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you an exclusive interview with DRDO Chairman Dr. G. Satish Reddy on DRDO's efforts in the fight against COVID-19. The interviewer is AIR correspondent Bhupendra Singh.
Sir, my first question is, amid the second wave of coronavirus crisis, what initiative have been taken by the DRDO to effectively deal with the COVID-19 situation and ramp up the medical infrastructure in the country?
The government has asked us to establish COVID-specific hospitals at various parts of the country, particularly starting with Delhi. We have established a 500-bedded complete ICU beds hospital in Delhi, which is operational now. Then we also have established a facility in Ahmedabad, wherein again the facility is operational, wherein normal beds plus ICU beds together are there in large number. Also we have established a hospital in Lucknow, which actually is going to be operationalized today, a 500-bedded hospital with 150 ICU beds. We are also making one more hospital in Varanasi, a 750-bedded hospital with 500 beds and 250 ICU beds. We have also technically and otherwise hand-holding, guiding we have done for the Madhya Pradesh government to come up with a hospital in Bina and also in Haryana near Panipat. We are also establishing hospitals now at Rishikesh, Haldwani and in Jammu and Srinagar. So these are all the places where the hospital infrastructure is being brought in with oxygen facility and all other monitors, other related equipment. The armed forces medical services people are providing in majority of these hospitals the medical services, and we are taken the complete responsibility of running the hospital, providing all the support, and together armed forces and we are ensuring that hospital is running properly. Second, as a Secretary Defense R&D, I am member of the Empowered Group for medical equipment related things, which is Empowered Group, wherein we are every day monitoring the oxygen situation, oxygen cylinders and various other requirements for the COVID, and discussing and taking decisions and necessary actions are being taken. As part of it, we also have developed oxygen plants, which actually the government has asked us to enhance that. These oxygen plants basically we have developed for the fighter aircrafts. When they go to very high altitudes, the pilot needs oxygen. So a system called onboard oxygen generation, OBOX, is developed, which has been expanded to provide 1,000 liters per minute. So Honorable Prime Minister has taken a review and said immediately work on this, bring in more industries, and 500 such plants are required across the country in each and every district, and he has given the funding from PM CARES. We are on that job of bringing in many industries. Also for household, at home, at quarantine centers, at healthcare centers, we are providing a mini oxygen cylinder, which is a portable cylinder, with automatic regulator and manual regulator, wherein the person can easily take oxygen based on the SpO2 levels, either automatic or non-automatic. We are going to produce about 1.5 lakh cylinders of that, so that we can provide it at households and centers and other places, so the load on the doctors will come down. In all our laboratories, we have come out with 1,000 cylinders, what we are using for different purposes. We have taken up, we recycled it and then made it suitable to the oxygen, and we are distributing to the various forces. Armed forces, we are giving it to Delhi government, we are giving it to Telangana government, we are giving it to AP government, and various cantonments we have given, and we are continuing this type of activities.
Sir, it has been observed that DRDO prepares medical infrastructure in a short span of time. So, how military expertise helps in creating such a robust infrastructure within a few days?
Basically, we have been working on various technologies for the defense of the country. These technologies always have a lot of spin-offs which will go into the society. So we have used those capabilities which are there with us, like we make chemical, biological, nuclear protection clothing, or we make parachutes. We have used that technology to make PPEs. We have used that technology for masks, and similarly we have used our laboratories which are working on biological warfare to develop the sanitizers. and we used our engineering knowledge to make it automatic sanitization things. Laboratory working on lasers has developed UV sanitization equipment. So it's all engineering knowledge which has been. Our construction wing has come out with saying that we will be able to come out with hospitals in 10 days, 12 days and all that. So that is how we have used our technological knowledge and base as a spin-off to this.
Sir, supply of oxygen has become a crucial element in the fight against COVID-19. So how DRDO is helping creating additional capacities for the production of medical oxygen in the country?
We have developed a technology for generating the oxygen from the atmosphere. That technology we basically developed it for fighter aircrafts. We use that technology to have oxygen plants. That also we generated for high altitude places where oxygen content is less, like Tawang, Leh and other places we established. Now that oxygen shortage, we use that technology and we are trying to build these facilities across the country in large numbers and make sure that the oxygen is available. Each plant can give about 1,000 liters per minute. There are 4 industries working with us. One industry in Coimbatore called Trident, the Tatas, the L&T, the BEML, Bharat Atmos Limited. These are all working and trying to make 500 such plants in a span of 3 months. So that's how we are supporting the various hospitals and institutions in the country.
Sir, the Prime Minister has directed to set up 500 medical oxygen plants under the aegis of DRDO across the country under the PM Care Fund. So how does DRDO plan to go about it?
We have actually thoroughly looked into the Honorable Prime Minister's directions and how we can support and come out with these plans as per his ideas. Basically, Honorable Prime Minister said that I need these things as fast as possible. So we are roped in all the industries. We are working with them continuously day and night and trying to see the supply chain. We are enabling the industries which are all there, all critical parts wherever it is required. Any particular material which is required from abroad also we are trying to get it, and we are continuously involved and trying to gear up these industries to produce large numbers in a short span of time.
Sir, in how many days these plants will be operationalized and what is the current status of the progress made in this direction?
The first plants are already rolled out and the first 2 plants have already landed in Delhi yesterday. They have started installing those equipment in All India Institute of Medical Sciences and RML, and tomorrow they should be operational. And so now onwards is a continuous process. We start increasing these numbers and going to various states and providing the facilities there.
Sir, DRDO is also going to install 5 oxygen plants in Delhi and NCR, and what is the capacity of these plants and how these plants will be able to provide continuous oxygen supply for the treatment of COVID patients?
These oxygen plants, every minute they will produce 1,000 liters and they will be operating continuously without any break as long as electric power is there. And so they will be able to supply this quantity, which is actually can be for a normal person who needs only 5 liters per minute, close to about 190 to 200 people can have oxygen facility.
Sir, is DRDO working on alternative technologies to ramp up the production of medical oxygen in the country?
We are not looking for many different technologies because we have to see the viability and possibility to develop them faster, come out. Because the requirement today in the country is that today you need it, not after some time. So what we have been, the planning is going is the technology which is well proven, that is good enough, and so it is only that how we ramp up the production. So that is how in a short span of about few days we could bring in Tatas, we could bring in L&T, we could bring in BEML and various other people, and then we ensure that all the necessary details are available to them. Our scientists are put with them, they are continuously working with them and trying to see that everything happens faster. And so we are thinking of going much beyond this 500 also within these 3 months. So that direction we are working to ensure that the established technology plants are available in larger numbers.
Sir, is there any mission mode project that has been planned to reorient the military technologies to create efficient medical equipments like oxygen concentrators, ventilators and oxygen cylinders?
As you know, that ventilator project was taken as a mission mode project last year. The country was not having ventilators capability. Within a short span of about 1.5 months, we developed the ventilators completely, ICU class ventilators, high-end ventilator, and brought in Bharat Electronics Limited into the production and ensured that 30,000 ventilators are produced in a short span of less than about 2.5 months from there onwards. And that's how country is seeing a lot of ventilators today. Of course, couple of other private industries also have come out and they also have given the ventilators. And oxygen concentrators also today, Bharat Electronics Limited is working on that. They have already planned to produce 5,000 oxygen concentrators, and my feeling is next month those concentrators should be available.
Sir, DRDO has developed a blood oxygen saturation supplemental oxygen delivery system. So how this system is going to be helpful in the treatment of COVID patients?
See, in COVID, you know that most important thing is as the lungs are infected and people need more and more oxygen supplement. It's not that every time you need to go to a hospital, take a bed and you need to do that. Basically, you can have a telephonic consultancy with any doctors, and then if you have oxygen with you, and you can keep on taking oxygen. Now, how much oxygen you need to take? That is actually, you have the SpO2 meter, from that you measure it, and then take oxygen accordingly what you need. So there is an electronic equipment which measures this and automatically regulates this oxygen and gives the patient. So this is what is the technology developed by one of our laboratories, and that oxygen cylinder is also a smaller cylinder, portable cylinder. Or otherwise that automatic electronic equipment is also removed manually, also based on your comfort and looking at the SpO2 values, you can adjust the regulator so that your consumption of the oxygen is efficiently used and everybody don't have to go to hospital and don't need a continuous doctor's guidance. As long as you are a moderate patient and then you need just oxygen and supply it as per the SpO2 levels. That is how this has been developed, and we are going to produce about 1.5 lakh such cylinders in the country to distribute all over the country.
So, by when these micro cylinders are likely to come into the market?
Probably this week to next week onwards they should be available.
How much are they likely to cost?
It is actually the manual regulator costs anything between 10 to 13,000 rupees, and automatic electronic control based system will cost about 30,000 rupees. So the first one is very affordable configuration.
So several countries have come up to support India in this crisis situation. So is DRDO is also tying up with the other countries' agencies which are already in the military expertise sector. So is there any plan?
Actually, a lot of countries have come in support of India. Lots of oxygen generators have been sent to India. In fact, a German oxygen generation plant is coming up, and which we are putting in our DRDO COVID hospital what near airport is established. There this German oxygen generation plant is going to be incorporated. So similarly, a lot of support is coming from various countries which we are taking up and trying to put in there. And we are also taking from various countries the oxygen tankers which we need here today. Oxygen we are taking from them, and also raw materials for producing many of this equipment which we need on large quantities which we do not have in the country in such large quantities in a short span of time. So that also we are trying to get from all these countries.
Any plan to produce cryogenic tankers in a large scale in India?
Yes, that plan is also there. Primarily IOCL is taken up this case, and they will be producing all these cryogenic tankers in large numbers in the country.
Sir, DRDO is continuously working in the development of several defense equipments like cruise missiles and electronic warfare system. So how these equipments will play a critical role in strengthening the warfare capabilities in India in the coming future?
DRDO has been continuously working on various defense technologies and trying to strengthen and make the armed forces equipped with the modern and state-of-the-art weapons. And DRDO's endeavor is to develop all these technologies indigenously. Now I can very confidently say that we have actually state-of-the-art capabilities in many of the technologies like missiles technologies, radars technologies, sonars technologies, torpedoes, electronic warfare systems, AWACS systems, guns, tanks. In fact, aircrafts also we are able to develop, design, develop and all that. So most of the technologies, the country has become self-reliant, and we will be able to support the armed forces with state-of-the-art technologies, and industry has come up in a big way in the country, and they have showing a lot of enthusiasm. And so the 83 aircrafts of LCA will give a big boost to the industry, and similarly 113 Arjun tanks also gives boost to the industry. Similarly, a lot of indigenous systems getting into the armed forces is a major boost to the Indian industry and for the self-reliance of the country.
Thank you, sir.
You were listening to an exclusive interview with DRDO Chairman Dr. G. Satish Reddy on DRDO's efforts in the fight against COVID-19. The interviewer was AIR correspondent Bhupendra Singh. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our website newsonair.com. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.